Navigating Grief: What to Do When You Feel Alone. An audiobook by Rooted in Self-Love. Before we begin, I wanted to thank you for being a part of this journey with me. I am building a community of women that are stepping into their power and living to their full potential. There is a lot to look forward to in this journey. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any videos or updates on resources and activities in the community. Chapter 1: Understanding Grief, The Lonely Journey. Grief is not just sadness. It is a storm that shakes every part of who we are, our emotions, our thoughts, even our bodies. When we lose someone or something dear, it is as though the world tilts and suddenly the familiar feels strange. One moment you may feel numb, the next overwhelmed with waves of pain. Sometimes you may even feel relief or anger, and then guilt for those very feelings. This is grief's nature. It does not follow a straight path, and it rarely makes sense. What makes grief especially difficult is the loneliness it brings. You can be in a room full of people who care for you, and still feel like no one truly understands what you're carrying. That isolation is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that your grief is uniquely yours. Every bond we lose is irreplaceable, so the grief that follows is unlike anyone else's. This is why even the most supportive friends may not ease that ache of being alone. Psychologists describe grief as a process that affects the mind and body. It can cause fatigue, trouble sleeping, difficulty concentrating, and even physical pain. This can make you feel even more cut off from the world around you. But here's the truth. These responses are not weaknesses. They are your body and mind working through something too heavy to process all at once. Feeling alone in grief is natural. It is the mind's way of making space to comprehend loss. Instead of fighting that loneliness, you can begin to see it as part of the journey, a quiet place where healing slowly begins. Your grief is valid. Your loneliness is valid, and you are not strange or wrong for feeling this way. As we move through this book, hold on to this. Grief is not about getting over a loss. It is about learning to live with it, and in time, finding new ways to carry love forward. Chapter 2: The Many Faces of Loss. When we hear the word grief, most people immediately think of death, the loss of a loved one whose absence can never be replaced. And while death is one of the most profound losses we can endure, it is not the only one. Grief shows up in many forms, and sometimes it hides in places we least expect. Divorce or the end of a relationship can feel like a kind of death. The death of a dream, of shared routines, of the version of yourself that existed in that partnership. Moving away from a home or community can stir grief too, because places hold memories, comfort, and identity. Even losing a job or career path, something society often tells us to simply move on from, can cut deep. Work is not just income. It often carries a sense of purpose, belonging, and self-worth. When that is stripped away, the grief can feel overwhelming, even if it goes unseen by others. Then there are the silent losses, the ones society doesn't always acknowledge. The end of a friendship, the fading of health, the loss of opportunities we hoped for but never got. These experiences may not receive the same rituals or sympathy as death, but they can still leave us feeling empty, shaken, and profoundly alone. The danger is that when our grief doesn't fit society's script, we may minimize our own pain. We tell ourselves we shouldn't feel so broken or that others have it worse. But grief is not a competition. Every loss that alters the shape of your life deserves space to be felt. Recognizing the many faces of loss is the first step in honoring your own experience. No matter what form your grief takes, it matters. And by giving it the dignity it deserves, you also give yourself permission to heal. Chapter 3, Breaking the Silence, Why We Feel Alone. One of the hardest parts of grief is not just the pain of loss, but the silence that follows it. Many people discover that while the world rushes back into its rhythm, they are still standing in the quiet aftermath, unsure how to move. This silence is often mistaken for strength, but in reality, it can feel like deep loneliness. Why does grief so often make us feel misunderstood? Part of the answer lies in social pressures. Society praises resilience, quick recovery, and the ability to get back to normal. Well-meaning friends may offer phrases like "stay strong" or "time heals all wounds," but those words can sometimes deepen the isolation. Instead of feeling seen, you may feel like your pain is something to hide, something to rush past in order to make others comfortable. Cultural expectations also play a role. In some cultures, grief is allowed open expression, tears, rituals, even wailing. In others, grief is expected to be quiet and dignified, contained within polite silence. Neither is wrong, but if your way of grieving doesn't match the expectation, you may feel out of place, as though your grief is too much or not enough. Then there is the subtle push to move on quickly. After the funeral, after the first few weeks of comfort and check-ins, the world turns its gaze elsewhere. Your loss, however, remains. This disconnect between your inner world and the outer world can leave you feeling abandoned, as though your grief has overstayed its welcome in everyone else's life. The truth is, grief has no expiration date. The loneliness it brings is not a flaw within you. It is the natural result of living in a society that often struggles to hold space for pain. Breaking the silence begins with acknowledging this. Your grief does not need to be hidden, rushed, or made smaller. It deserves to be spoken, honored, and heard. Chapter 4, Emotional Waves, Riding the Storm. Grief rarely feels steady. Instead, it comes like waves, sometimes soft and bearable, other times crashing so hard you can barely breathe. One moment you may feel overwhelming sadness, the next anger, guilt, or even numbness. These shifts can leave you wondering, am I losing control? Am I grieving the wrong way? But grief is not meant to be neat. It is a storm that changes form, and every emotion it brings is part of the journey. Sadness often feels the heaviest, the emotion most people expect. Yet it is not the only companion. Anger may rise, anger at the unfairness of loss, at the person who left, even at yourself or at God. Guilt may creep in, whispering what you should have done differently. And then there is numbness, the protective shield your mind builds when the pain feels too much. These emotions may contradict one another, but together they form the landscape of grief. The key is not to fight these emotional waves, but to ride them without judgment. When anger shows up, notice it, give it space on the page of a journal, or release it physically through movement. When guilt comes, meet it with compassion, reminding yourself that love and imperfection always coexist in human relationships. When numbness lingers, trust that it is your body's way of giving you rest until you are ready to feel again. Mindful awareness can be a powerful ally. Take a few moments each day to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and simply notice what is present within you. No fixing, no rushing, just noticing. By observing your emotions like passing waves, you give yourself the gift of perspective. What feels overwhelming now will eventually shift. Grief does not ask you to control the storm. It asks you to trust that you can endure it. Each wave that rises will also fall, and with time, you will find yourself standing stronger in the calm between them. Chapter 5. Caring for the body through grief. Grief does not live only in the heart or mind. It makes a home in the body. Many people are surprised to discover just how physical loss can feel. Fatigue may weigh you down, making even small tasks exhausting. Sleep may become restless, with nights of waking too often or mornings of not wanting to rise at all. Appetite can swing wildly, either fading away or turning into constant cravings. And because grief is a form of stress, the immune system can weaken, leaving you more vulnerable to illness. These are not signs of weakness. Nutrition can serve as natural responses to the immense energy it takes full meals, but small, just as a broken bone, a piece of fruit, warm soup, herbal tea, too does your body when it is carrying the invisible hydration is equally important. Honoring your physical self can leave you more dehydrated than you realize. Movement, too, helps release the heaviness grief stores in the body. This doesn't mean intense workouts. A slow walk, light stretching, or even swaying to calming music can help your nervous system reset. Pair movement with grounding practices, placing your hand on your chest, taking deep breaths, or pressing your feet firmly against the floor to remind your body that it is safe here and now. And above all, give yourself permission to rest. Grief is demanding. If your body asks for a nap, take it. If it wants stillness, honor that. Healing is not found in pushing harder, but in listening with kindness to what your body needs. Your body carries you through grief. By caring for it gently, you give yourself the strength to face each new day, one breath at a time. Chapter 6. Finding Solace in Connection. Grief often convinces us that we are utterly alone. The pain feels so personal, so specific, that no one else could possibly understand. And while it is true that no two losses are identical, it is also true that connection has the power to ease isolation and remind us that we don't have to walk this path in silence. Support can come in many forms. Grief support groups, whether in person or online, create spaces where stories are shared without judgment. Simply hearing someone else describe feelings similar to your own can bring immense relief. I'm not the only one. Therapy provides another layer of care, offering a safe container with a trained guide who can help you untangle emotions, challenge guilt, and build tools for resilience. Mentorship can also be a quiet source of comfort. Sometimes speaking with someone who has walked through grief ahead of you, who has faced their own storms and found a way to live again, can plant hope where despair has settled. And then there are safe sharing circles with trusted friends or communities of faith, where words need not be perfect and tears are welcomed. Yet, it's equally important to recognize that not every presence is supportive. Some people, even with the best intentions, may pressure you to move on too quickly or minimize your feelings. Others may shift the focus to their own discomfort instead of truly listening. Part of protecting your healing is learning to discern. Does this person leave me feeling lighter or heavier? Do I feel safe opening my heart here? Connection in grief is not about surrounding yourself with everyone. It's about choosing the right ones. Even a single supportive presence can make the unbearable feel a little more possible. Grief may be a lonely journey, but with the right companions, you discover that you never have to carry the weight entirely alone. Chapter 7. Rituals and Routines that Heal. When grief leaves life feeling chaotic and unrecognizable, rituals and routines can offer a steady ground. They are not about erasing pain, but about creating small anchors of meaning and stability in the midst of loss. These intentional acts remind the heart that healing is not only possible, but already happening one step at a time. Rituals can take many forms. Some find comfort in writing letters to the one they lost, pouring unspoken words onto the page as a way of continuing the bond. Others light candles, creating a gentle moment of remembrance each day. meditation, or prayer offers a space to connect with the sacred, to rest in something larger than grief itself. Movement practices, whether through yoga, walking, or even swaying gently to music, help release emotions the body doesn't always have words for. Weekly or symbolic rituals can also serve as milestones. Perhaps every Sunday you prepare a favorite meal in honor of your loved one, or once a month you visit a place that holds memories. These acts become sacred pauses in the rhythm of life, places where grief is not hidden but acknowledged with tenderness. Routines matter too. Establishing a daily rhythm, waking, eating, moving, resting, creates a sense of safety when everything else feels uncertain. Even something as simple as a morning tea, a journal entry, or stepping outside to breathe fresh air can become a quiet declaration. I am still here. I am still living. The beauty of rituals is that they are deeply personal. There is no right or wrong way, only what feels authentic to your heart. Over time, these practices weave threads of stability through the storm of grief, reminding you that even in loss, you can still create moments of connection, meaning, and peace. Chapter 8, Grief and Identity, Rebuilding After Loss. Loss can shake more than our hearts. It can shake the very foundation of who we believe we are. When someone or something important is gone, the routines, roles, and relationships that shaped our identity may also shift or disappear. You may find yourself asking, who am I without this person? What is my life without this chapter? These questions are normal, and though unsettling, they are also an invitation to rediscover yourself. Grief can feel like an eraser, wiping away certainty and confidence. Yet buried beneath the sorrow are pieces of you that remain intact, your strength, your compassion, your capacity to love and create. Reclaiming your identity begins with gentle curiosity. What brings you joy now? What values guide your choices? What small actions remind you that life, even with loss, still holds meaning? Finding new purpose does not mean forgetting or replacing what was lost. Instead, it is about integrating the loss into your life story while also making space for growth. Perhaps it is through volunteering, creative expression, or learning something new. Perhaps it is through reconnecting with old friendships or nurturing parts of yourself that were overlooked before. Each step, however small, helps restore a sense of wholeness. This rebuilding is not linear. Some days you may feel confident and alive, others lost and fragile. Both are part of the process. By leaning into self-compassion and curiosity, you begin to meet yourself as you are, grieving, yet still resilient, wounded, yet still capable of discovering depth and beauty within your own life. Grief may have shifted your world, but it has not erased you. Within the ache lies the opportunity to uncover a self that is wiser, more tender, and fully alive, ready to continue the journey, carrying the love and lessons that loss has given. Chapter 9, Transforming Loneliness into Growth. Loneliness often accompanies grief, whispering that you are isolated, abandoned, or forgotten. Yet within this solitude lies a hidden opportunity, a chance to listen deeply to yourself, to explore the inner landscape that everyday life often drowns out. When we reframe loneliness not as punishment, but as fertile ground, it becomes a powerful catalyst for growth and self-discovery. Grief creates a natural pause, a space where distractions fall away, and the heart is forced to notice what truly matters. Leaning into this space doesn't mean dwelling in despair. It means creating intentional practices that honor your feelings while inviting insight. Mindfulness is one such practice. Sitting quietly, observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, noticing the ebb and flow of feelings like waves on a shore. Creativity offers another path. Writing, drawing, painting, or even rearranging your space allows the inner world to find expression. Through these acts, grief is transformed from something that only isolates to something that communicates, releases, and shapes understanding. Journaling can be particularly powerful, letting you explore memories, fears, and hopes while tracking the subtle shifts in your heart over time. Solitude can also be a mirror. In quiet moments, you may uncover strengths, values, or desires that were buried beneath routine or obligation. You may discover parts of yourself that grief has revealed rather than destroyed, offering a new sense of self-awareness and purpose. Transforming loneliness is not about denying sadness. It is about holding space for it, while also making room for growth. By leaning into solitude with curiosity, compassion, and creativity, the ache of grief begins to soften. The empty moments no longer feel threatening but become invitations to reflect, to create, and to discover that even in loss, life offers profound lessons and unexpected beauty. Chapter 10. Moving Forward Without Forgetting. Grief does not end. It transforms. Over time, the raw ache softens, memories find their place, and life begins to feel possible again. Moving forward does not mean forgetting. It means learning to carry your loss with you, allowing it to coexist with new experiences, joys, and connections. The person, place, or dream you lost remains a part of your story, and your love and remembrance can continue to shape your life in meaningful ways. Integration is key. Grief becomes a quiet companion rather than a constant storm. You may still feel sadness or pangs of longing, but alongside these moments can come laughter, creativity, and the simple pleasures of being alive. Life becomes layered, richer, and more textured, with both loss and love woven together. Creating a vision for the future is a powerful step in honoring your grief. What do you want your life to feel like moving forward? How can you celebrate the memory of what you lost while embracing what still awaits you? Journaling, visualization, or speaking your intentions aloud can help solidify a path that balances remembrance with renewal. Remember, moving forward is not a straight line. There will be days when grief resurfaces, moments when it feels heavy again. This is normal and does not erase your progress. Each step you take toward joy, connection, and purpose is a testament to your resilience, a quiet celebration of your enduring capacity to love and live fully. Now, take a moment to reflect. How has your grief shaped you? And how can you honor it while stepping boldly into the life you desire? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story may be the light someone else needs. If this audiobook has supported you, please like, share, and subscribe to help this channel grow and reach others on their journey through grief. Until next time, stay rooted in self-love,